What's going on, everyone? Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys so much for all of your likes, your comments, subscribes, shares, all of the commentary, all the comments. I read everything. I really appreciate everyone for chiming in and everything as well. And in my last video, I said that the ES had a 100% success rate when it opened outside of the lower Bollinger Band, but that was incorrect. There were two instances in 2001 where on the weekly, we ended up closing red, and that was basically told to me by two of you guys. So thank you guys for correcting me on that front. It just so happened that it worked out. So it's not 100%, but it's 2 out of, I believe it was close to 20 something instances where this happened since 1997. So just fortunate that we didn't end up red. But for today's video, right, I just want to zoom out and look at things on a just on a zoomed out level. So this is basically going to be a video of why I'm going to be basically bullish next week as well. So this is the ES, right, on a weekly chart. And first of all, we're in a falling wedge pattern. So falling wedges are probably one of my favorite patterns because they have such a high success rate of working. Right, so we're in a falling wedge pattern. Number one. Number two, we're basically at support. Right. Number three is the MACD and the RSI are both oversold, and there's clearly a lot of room for them to move upwards. Right. And number four, we opened outside of the lower Bollinger Band on the weekly. So when all of those things happen, it is a very high likelihood that the week afterward is also green. So I am going to be leaning bullish for next week as well. Not completely blindingly bullish, but the momentum is still there to the upside. And in my opinion, unless we start breaking below, so depending on where we close tomorrow, right? I'm assuming we're going to close decent, right? But next week, if we end up falling below and closing below 373, then I don't think we can have. So 370 to 373 is going to be a very important level for next week. And I'm basically, guesstimating where we're going to close tomorrow as well. But 370 to 373 is going to be a very important level regardless. So if we close below that level sometime next week, it's a likely chance that we won't be green next week. But my bet is that we are going to have a green week for those reasons that I already shared. And there's a lot more reasons that I'm going to share as well. But overall, now zooming out, right? If you're a bear, do you want to short over here? Where, first of all, did you want to short at support? No, you didn't want to short at support. Do you want to short over here in the middle of last week's red candle? No, you don't, because you want to get a better risk reward to your shorts, right? What you want to do is you want the market to bounce so that you can short it. Does that make sense? So you're going to want it to at least come back up. I drew that very poorly. You want it to come back up to at least 385. 385 is a very conservative target to the upside, especially for bears. So in a good, like a healthy market, you can't just keep falling down. There needs to be points at where we bounce up. Similarly to when we had this huge downturn here, there were instances intra-week where you could have easily made money both ways, right? They bounce up, give people a better opportunity to go short multiple times. And this is another one of those opportunities. Obviously, the macroeconomic environment is still very bearish. The overall market dynamics and everything is very bearish. But the way that Powell was speaking, he was basically saying that the market is doing a good job pricing in basically what the Fed wants to do. So that is very bullish. So in the short term, and we also have to take into consideration that he wants to have a soft landing. So to have a soft landing, we can't just go kaput and fall through and just completely devastate hundreds, billions, trillions of dollars worth of like just money, right? You can't just destroy the stock market. That's why there needs to be a soft landing. So the soft landing, what we've been monitoring are bounces to levels of resistance, reshorting opportunities, and breaking new lows. And that is what I think is going to end up happening on the ES. That's why next week, I believe we should see at least, I would honestly be shocked if we don't see at least 385 next week. That would just be ridiculous weakness. And then the week after that is going to be very, very interesting. But let's take it 1 week at a time. But yeah, I'd be very, very, very surprised if we don't get. If 385 is very, very conservative. If we can't close above 383 first, then it would just be mind-boggling to me. But regardless, we play both sides. So yeah, essentially, those are a few of the reasons why I think we're gonna go higher next. Also, when looking at the daily, the MACD just crossed above on the daily chart on the ES, and the RSI is moving up slowly, right? So that's a very, very good sign. And just look at it on the daily chart. This is a nice little zone. It makes sense for us to come back and bounce to that level to give a better shorting opportunity. And it's picture perfect. It's an amazing opportunity to go short up here, right? So there's the ES. Now I want to also take a look at Bitcoin to give you guys a better holistic view of everything as well. So this is a weekly chart of Bitcoin on the log chart. All right, and this is we're clearly at support on the log. This support line goes back to 2015. I'm looking at Coinbase, so it goes back to 2015. It connects to the 2020 bottom, and here we are now. So this is a really, really important long-term trend line. Basically at support. We opened outside of the lower Bollinger Band as well. So I'm banking on Bitcoin to also be bouncing next week as well, to at least 23,000. If it doesn't bounce to 23,000. Then something is going on in terms of liquidity, and because just normal market dynamics, it would make sense for if people are bearish, then they want a better shorting opportunity, and that shorting opportunity, in my opinion, would come at least 23,000. So just the amount of money still on the sideline, people would want to look for a dip to get like a better trading opportunity. And you're not going to want to go short here when you're sitting right next to support. When you're sitting basically right at 20,000, you want to go short again after we bounce. So that is what I am assuming should happen as well on Bitcoin. The indicators are very leaning bullish. There's a lot more room to the upside on the indicators as well. And then when you take a look at the non-log chart on Bitcoin as well, this is a trend line connecting from October 18th. This is weekly. So the high of October 18th, and then you connect that to November 29th. So you can see that we are also at support, trendline support, on the weekly on the non-log chart. So we're at multiple levels of support. We're very, very overextended to the downside on Bitcoin as well on the weekly, as well as the ES. And also with the VIX, if you notice for the past few days, the volatility, the IV has been very, very high. So there's a lot of volatility in the market, and they don't just want it to collapse. So if the stock market and the ES don't bounce here, then the VIX is going to skyrocket, because it's just essentially, if you look at the ES on the weekly chart, right? If we don't bounce next week, then this entire bullish setup, there isn't many other setups that we're probably going to have this year that have this many reasons to go long, in my opinion. What would be a better reason to go long? We're at support. We're very overextended to the downside. Funds are very, very afraid of going long at the moment. The entire macroeconomic environment is very bearish, but we're sitting at support on not only the ES, but also on Bitcoin. Everyone that you talk to is very, very bearish. Is going long above 4,200 better? No, because that, I don't, in my opinion, if that happens in the next few weeks, going long above 4,200, if by August, for some reason, the SPY is above 4,200, I would be kind of scared, because like that, I mean, unless the Fed changes their the way that they're speaking, right? If they change their rhetoric, I'm not sure what the proper term for it right now is, but nothing that the Fed is saying is going to change within the next month or two. So to go long in a range-bound market that we've been trading in, intraday specifically, because if you guys are trading intraday, you know that this is a range-bound market. If we're trading within a range, you don't go long at resistance. You don't go long above resistance. You go long at support. We're sitting at support, multiple different time frames, multiple different reasons, multiple different assets. So I think it makes sense to lean long for this week and for next week. I could be completely wrong, but this week has been a killer week. I had the third biggest trading day of the year so far this week, and yesterday, and it was pretty amazing. So that's my analysis. I do believe that there are many other reasons that people should go long and be bullish, in my opinion, but just to make things simple and everything, I think that does a good job. I'll maybe go more in depth on Sunday, but overall, not sure what happens tomorrow, but I am leaning long for specifically the market and Bitcoin as well next week. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys. If you guys want access to the Discord, go ahead and join the Discord as well. I'm going to share more stuff about that on Sunday. The link is in the bio. But if, I'll see you guys Sunday. I'll make the video. Thank you guys.